What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Art of Sorcery Contested Realm, where we go A through Z and look at every card and break down, what is the card telling us, right? And I think today's episode's a really good one because just looking at this card, right, you would assume that this is quite a basic card. There's really not much to it. What kind of lore could we really get from this? Well, I'll tell you, I was surprised, right? So let's get into it a bit, right? So when we first look at the card, I go over to Collector Art House, and here's obviously the larger photo of it. And something I found interesting is, and this could just be a mess up, or maybe this really was how it was first commissioned. But if you notice, it's called Imperial Pikemen on this painting here. Now, if we look, obviously, it's called Albaspine Pikemen, and I was obviously curious, what is Albaspine? And obviously, so I looked it up, and it refers to a European hawthorn. It's a wood, and the name comes from the Latin for white thorn, reflecting the plant's white thorns. Yeah, and this is obviously the name. So it's a type of wood, is essentially what it is. Now, what I found interesting, so it's basically saying that they're wooden spearmen, right? And I don't know how I missed this on first glance. Maybe you guys all saw it. I didn't. The spears are completely wooden. They're almost like wooden spikes. They're not actual metal spear tipped spears. Just based off of this one here, and and these here, which I assume are the same. So these guys are just straight up carrying sharpened sticks. Literally, they're not speared at all. Now, I was like, okay, was this a thing? So I looked at it, and it's saying that the Albus spear is not known object. And maybe instead of spear, I should put pike. Let's see if. Oh. Yeah. So basically, from what it thinks I'm talking about, maybe I should put. Yeah. See, I don't think they were actually so. So I was just like, yeah, that's very interesting. They don't seem to have been a thing. So I ended up finding this post on Reddit, which unfortunately this guy I guess doesn't have a. I guess he deleted his Reddit. I don't know. And what he would do, I guess, is do kind of basically what I'm doing, except you'd get way more in depth on it. Yeah, sorry, I don't care enough, but I'd highly recommend you read this post. But something I found extremely interesting, and again, this is why I do this because I find this very interesting. The Albaspine is the name comes from. Oh yeah, we already kind of looked this up. The white thorn. So that part wasn't what I found interesting. It was this part right here. I'm no carpenter, but hawthorn seems like a terrible wood to make pole arms. And from what I can gather, ash was the wood of choice in Europe. Hawthorn was, however, believed to be a bane against supernatural. So perhaps the pikemen gain that title from the fact that they will bravely defend the realm's mortals against demons, monsters, and undeads. Or undeads and undead. So, to the period accuracy of the humans he portrays by one retire his faithful depiction of what. Yeah. So I just kind of found it interesting that when you look at this photo, you just kind of think, oh, German pikemen, right? But what these pikes could refer to, and what we're not seeing in this just normal photo, is that these guys are actually going to be fighting like demons or undead. Again, that's just a complete theory. There's really no evidence other than the fact that they're not using the best wood or common wood at the time. They're using a wood associated with, spirits and cleansing and whatnot. So that's why, again, that's why we take a glance at art, because one, I don't know how I didn't even notice that these were all wooden. I just kind of assumed that there was like metal tips at the end of these, and you just wouldn't think that, oh, these guys are fighting like zombies. Like you wouldn't like look at this photo and go, oh yeah, these guys are fighting an invading zombie army. And again, that's not 100% fact, but it's interesting, right? It's a theory. And that's just a game theory. No. So someone asked Eric, so if anyone's able to get a hold of Eric. I wonder. Here, let's read the comments maybe. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, someone get a hold of Eric and ask him if it's true that they're actually fighting demons or something. Exceptional mortals with prejudice poles. Interesting. Oh, also, he does mention too how the quote on this card, it's actually the full quote is basically talking about how pikemen uh it's actually just super easy. They just stand there and basically if you die to a pikeman, you basically just threw yourself onto their spear or their pike. So this whole it serves him right who runs into the long reach of a pikeman. The full quote basically says, yeah, it serves him right because they're just standing there with pole. So I thought that was funny. If you want to read the whole quote, there it is. But again, we'll look more. I guess I didn't really talk much about the artist, and I do like to normally do that a bit. But sometimes it's not the easiest. Here we go. Okay, that's what I thought. I don't want to say, but I was gonna guess with the last name that they were Italian. Man, why are all these great art? Oh, I guess technically Vincent Pompetti is not Italian. He's Belgium, but I'm pretty sure Pompetti that's an Italian last name. But what do I know? Also, tell me if I don't really know European that well, but Vincent Pompetti, he looks Italian to me. This guy looks Italian too. I'm telling you, it's the nose. The nose gives him away every time. Preferred medium. Okay, so called. Oh, I think my fiance like dabbles in art, and I have heard her speak of this. They're like oh, what is it like? I've heard of this. Yeah, see, I was a pure watercolorist using very. Is it? I could be completely wrong, but I think it's like either a special type of paint or it's like a special type of stencil. I have to Google this now. Gouache. Look at us. We're becoming art experts together. Medium. Look, I even know how to use the word medium. That's what I thought. I think you basically take waters and you kind of like mix it with like a heavier. Yeah, chalk. Yeah. Let's look at some gouache. I'm probably completely saying that wrong. Dang, that really looks like Vincent Pompetti's work. Is that really? That looks so different. So I guess you have like the mediums, but then you also have like the style, right? Because this would be considered more abstract. Like, bro, this looks exactly like Vincent Pompetti. Like, look. See? But his is more wet, it seems, right? Like it seems like it's thinner because he uses like an oil water paint. I don't know. Can we get a See, here's my thing with art. I'll give you this last little tangent before I leave you guys. I went to school for game design and I stopped because there's almost like, and the same thing with film. Like I got really into film, but then I stopped because it's like you almost lose the mystery. Like, it sucks when you watch a movie and you can be like, oh, there's the cuts here, the cuts here, oh, the lighting, the frame, and it's like you get this mind where you're like, ah, I've ruined it, right? And then same thing with game design. You're like, oh, well, should this the this, and then you just start critiquing it, and then it's just like, oh, it's not a game anymore. Ah, it's not a movie anymore. Uh, so that's why, like, I try and like dumb myself down to art because I don't want to know, because like I just want to look at it. I don't want to know the techniques. I don't want to be like, oh well, what they did was they brought in the lights and then the darks over it. It ruins it. I don't want to know. So it's like I'm like purposefully leaving myself dumb to art because did homeboy who lost their helmet here? Is it did he? How did your helmet get all the way over here? I assume that's his helmet. Anyway, but like I don't, and this is Vincent Pompetti. It's like I don't want to know though. You know what I mean? I don't want to know how you made this because it gets rid of the mystery, the beauty. I don't know. That's all I've got. But anyway, guys, if you've been following as well, here I'll show you guys this too. I've been going back and looking at old vintage Magic art. So we've done the first two. If you stay tuned later tonight, this evening, 6 o'clock Eastern, or no, 7 o'clock Eastern, we will be doing lore in the breakdown of Aladdin's ring. So stay tuned for that. And then if not, tomorrow, this will probably be fun. This is what we'll be looking at for our art tomorrow. But as always, guys, I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you around.